Okay, three times is a charm. All right, so back at you. This is Brother Tenka with ANSOTH. We are a community-driven real estate development company, and we have primary interest in the city of Jackson. We are looking to, are well on our way to revitalizing the city of Jackson. And as that community driven real estate development company, as I said, our mission is to transform underserved neighborhoods. We want to transform them into thriving communities. Now, what is our approach? What's our plan of attack? Well, we're going to acquire real estate, both blighted and non-blighted. We do have few properties in our portfolio, but as we build up momentum, of course, we'll become more visible. But more on that stuff to come. We are here to this evening to talk about, for questions. And this topic is Ask the Licensed Contractor. And I do have a few questions here. So we were going to go on Facebook and do it on Facebook, but that didn't work. And so just decided to, did I say YouTube? But that didn't work. And so we're just going to try Facebook. All right. So the first question on here is, what does a licensed contractor and developer do? Okay. Well, let's first define the difference between a licensed contractor and a real estate developer. All right. So a licensed contractor brings the vision to life. Have a set of blueprints, and they look at those blueprints, and it gives them the directions as to what the homeowner wants. They're responsible for pulling permits, coordinating subcontractors, and ensuring legal and a safe construction environment. A developer, on the other hand, is the strategist, right? And the visionary for identifying properties, secure the financing, and leads the transformation of distressed areas into thriving spaces. And here at ANSOTH, we do both. Now, here's the thing. Anyone that participate in renovations, they're buying property, renovating it, whether it is a residential or commercial, that person, in fact, is a real estate developer. Many people don't know that, and so the term is many times used interchangeably, or can be, but not oftentimes do. But the real estate developer, we tend to think of those individuals as, you see a piece of land that you want to put a structure on. And so they come up with all the financing, as I said, and do all the legwork that it take up into the point of the actual erection of the building, right? And then the general contractor would come in, and then actually there's general contractors all along the way, right? Licensed contractors can very well be real estate developers, and real estate developers can very well be licensed contractors, right? Well, there are people that do development that don't have license, but that's another subject. Okay. All right. So what are the what qualifies you to even speak on this subject? The question is, well, um, over the years, I have been involved in many real estate um, uh, projects, right? And I've had over 25 years, and actually started when I was around, well, for as long as I remember, as long as I had family and children, I have been into repairing things and not having the capital needed in order to do what was needed to do. Um, I had to get in there and do the thing, fix the repairs myself. And I see Shaquita on the line. Greetings, Queen, and thank you for tuning in. All right, and we got Lucretia. All right, thank you too. All right, so ANSOTH is backed by 20 years of experience. From being non-licensed and licensed, um, doing projects in the Clinton area, in the Jackson area, and whatnot. Um, and so also designed a curriculum, conscious construction, which we haven't launched yet, but it's in work. All right. So got quite a bit of. We're more so into doing the work. All right. But yeah. So as I said, I've been participated in all of those as a general contractor and a real estate developer. Okay. What's the first thing you do when scouting for property? That is a very, very great question. That is so. What I typically do, it just really depends on. Um, it really depends on what your goals are as far as the construction is concerned. Um, so if I look into a particular area, let's say, and this has happened several times, you go into an area and there was this particular property that I saw in this neighborhood, and it was the worst thing on the street. And I ran the numbers and found out the value of those other properties. And after looking at that, I knew for certain that, the purchase of this property would, bring a positive cash flow. And so, because it fell below what the other properties look like. So that is a good sign that that would be a great investment. Um, but the thing that we have to do is, you want to evaluate the block, right? And not just the building, but you want to see, the kind of neighbors you have, and whether or not, it would be a good fix for you. Then you also want to check on the zoning, the ownership, and the comps. Is walkability, again, it depends on what you want, what are you looking for. You may want to live close to a mixed use area to where there's commercial and real estate, residential, and where you can just, not necessarily drive, but you can just walk basically wherever you need to go. Those are popular areas too. Um, and then you want to look at the long-term potential um, of the community as far as revitalization. Um, but again, so ANSOTH believes that each property must align with the larger community, with that community's vision, right? So, and that is why you want to you want to know, um, what the code is, what uh, the city in that area would allow in those spaces or in those neighborhoods. All right. Another question is it better to build a house or buy an existing one? Uh, so I would say when you build, you need control. When you want to build, um, you have to have control, and it needs to be efficient. Um, Buying and rehabbing when the structure is solid, well, you're looking at a structure if you're looking at a structure and it's sound enough, you go ahead and buy it and then you rehab it. But you definitely want to take a look at whether or not the foundation um, is enough that you don't have to is stable enough that you don't have to spend that extra money in developing that property, because it can become costly. And that's one of the things that really that is all about, to determine whether or not you want to build or buy. When you are doing a renovation, there's no telling what you'll get in once you start ripping things off and whatnot. You don't know the history of it, how it was built. You only find those things out when you get into the demolition part of it, or, trying to um, uh, break something down or rip it apart before, in order to rebuild it. You really don't know what's in store for you. But if it's a new construction, of course, you have you can see it as it's built. And so that's what I'm saying about, you have more control over it and has a potential to be more efficient. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Y'all can hear. Okay. We are back. All right. So, all right. What is the other question is, what is cooperative economics? Okay. Cooperative economics is more or less group economics. And ANSOTH practice this, we do have a property or so that is co-owned by two entities, right? And it allows for financing of different projects. When you also have other people's cash, and this is a member managed operation, right? So there's Ujima group economics, right? This is how you can actually build wealth when you find a family, a friend, or whatnot to go partners with you on the acquisition of a property. That always can help a person to be motivated, and it's always good to have help on different projects, both financially and as well as actually doing the work, or manually, the labor part of it. All right. Is it still good to invest in real estate? It's always good to invest in real estate, especially, in my opinion, in underserved areas. Even with this economic shift, value lies in the transformation or overlooking of properties into income generating properties. Pride, it builds asset, and really, you can take, for example, and I know there's a lot of different other factors that goes into whether or not someone wants to take a property renovate it and live in it and whatnot. But you could save tons of money. You know, a lot of people with this administration lost their jobs and things of that nature, and they had a mortgage note out the roof, right? And so, well, the thing of it is a fraction of that mortgage, and a lot of times could buy 3 homes, you know, in underserved areas. But I know there's a lot of other things that goes with that, but we're just talking about as far as investment. And you have a whole lot of outside entities purchasing properties, in particular in Jackson, and that are holding on to these properties. And a lot of people are complaining that these outside entities are purchasing these properties, and they're still not doing anything with it. So it behooves us to really understand the value of real estate. You know, they're not making any more land, as we always say, and it is what you do with the land that really gives it the value. All right. All right. So yeah, it's always a good thing to buy land, always. And let me say this, land is something that there's a limit on it. There's a cap, right? And it's always been about land and resources and whatnot. You know, and here's a little, did you know, well, it's more than trivia, but just 50 years after emancipation, you know, new Africans own like 14 million acres in land here in North America. And this was a study that's just done by ProPublic. And they shared that, or did the research, and said that, you know, 50 years after emancipation, as I said, 14 million acres were owned by the recently enslaved people. The recently freed people, they owned about 14 million. Well, today, that amount has been swindled to 1 million, less than 1 million. So as an ethnic group, New Africans own less than 1 million acres, you know, at this day and time. Now, there's a lot of reason for that, but we'll just leave it at that. And just know that when our ancestors were set free, the thing that was on their mind was to, you know, to get land, to buy land, and so that they could live off the land and raise, you know, their own food and grow their own community, really. And but that was butchered up, for lack of a better word. All right. This other question, explain your methods. Explain your methods. Let me see. Get this to scroll up a little bit here. So, as I said, you know, ANSOTH's conscious constructions method is to identify blighted property. And then we assess the potential. We secure ownership, mobilize the capital needed for the rehab. We, conduct a rehab with intentions, right? And we measure the impact, and then we reinvest, right? And so we have for a long time been operating just under the radar, you know, not giving too much attention, or not being so showy off, or whatever the case is. We've just been moving stealthily, but that's how we've been doing it in the past. But that is to change. And we're working on making some great moves, let me say. All right. How the other thing is how to determine a budget. Okay. Again, that's going to be highly predicated on what your reason for what your reason is for acquiring whatever property. If you are in it to, make money, then you have to decide, what's going to be a good rate of return for you, right? And the market is the industry, and I say the industry, it's, none of it is, just cut and dry, but rate of return is like 40%. I don't, it just really, it really depends on the individual. And some people won't touch a deal unless they can make 20 grand. Some people won't touch it unless they make 50, 75, or 100 or a million. It just really depends on the outcome. Now, and those big dollars like that, is not what we want to kind of focus on here. What we're looking to focus on in this discussion evolves around the blighted properties in Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, and so we know that there is 4,200 roughly blighted properties in the city of Jackson, and the question is, what can we do as citizens? As people that are concerned about the blight issue, what can we do to make it better, right? And I would be lying if I said that the only thing there needs to be done is, go in and buy up the property, renovate them, and put them on the market. Well, there's more than that. There's more to it than that, right? If we are going to solve the blight issues, we have to go to the root cause of it, right? And we ain't gonna change nothing without first changing, having a different mindset when it comes to our community and these areas that's underserved, and these underserved neighborhoods. All right, so we are about at the end of this Q&A for Ask the Licensed Contractor. This was a rough drive or whatever, and we'll get better at it. But if there are any questions of people that is on live watching, put your questions in the comment, and I'll hope to be able to answer them. Okay. And so just want to reiterate what I've already said, and then I'll go ahead on and close this thing out. So we are not here to gentrify. We're not here to gentrify. We're here to galvanize, to restore and to build it strong together, to build our community, which we lack. But we're here to build something great together. And the question is, how can we get involved? Well, there's several ways. We do have a landing page to where you can go to and just put in a bit of your information. You can get involved in several ways. One, if you just want to report blight, right? And you say, man, I don't need to report it, you know, because you just get in your car and you drive. Yep, that's true. But what? All right, we're back. Yeah. So what that means is, um, you know, when we say report it, yeah, we can get in our cars and vehicles and drive around and see blight. But what we really want is to connect to those people that are concerned about blight next door to them, because those are the people that's going to be more motivated, more genuine about addressing the issue. So you can go to www.ansoth.com to put in your information if you want to get involved. Also, if you would like to become a real estate enthusiast, right? This is for you. We can, you know, you may have already be about, you know, the business. You may be already engaging in real estate. But if you want to get better, you know, if you want us to help, you know, you to grow, your business to grow, because at the end of the day, that is what it's really about, then reach out to us. Or if you want to get started in real estate is one of the most life-changing things that you can get into, you know, is real estate, right? So if you want to become a real estate enthusiast, or you are already that and you want some help into growing your real estate portfolio, you know, connect with us. All right. Or maybe you are a subcontractor and you have a skill, the profession, electrician, plumber, carpenter, you do flooring, you do landscaping, you clean up, or whichever the case is. Our goal is to galvanize the people, local people that lives in the city of Jackson, right? And we can clean up our own city. We can clean up our own city. We can do whatever needs to be done, that we don't get pushed out of our community. We don't get pushed out of what we have, a neighborhood, but, you know, we'll call it community, because that's what we're moving toward. But yeah, so if you have any of those skills, or you want to attain those skills, you know, go to www.ansoth, right? And put your information in there, and we'll get back with you within 24 hours. So yeah, you know, your skills, your desire to help will help change the city of Jackson. You know, we can build this thing, rebuild it block by block. And then also, you know, maybe you just want to be a community connector, you know. If you just simply want to share your ideas, your vision, or your energy, we want to hear from you.